This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel. This is Eric.
This is Sydney.
And this is Hallmark Mysteries.
And more.
Well, you're becoming quite the common face with the voice with the podcast. And hello, Andrea. How are you doing?
I am doing all right now.
So you set me up a little bit because you said you think we're going to be a little bit in a disagreement over this one, which I just find I don't understand how with all of our movies, we essentially always agree. And yet whenever you come on to be a guest, we seem to disagree.
I know, every time I'm like,
I don't get it.
I feel like you're setting me up. You're like picking all the ones where I have like a take that is not common with everyone else, just the complete opposite.
Yes. So today we are going to be talking about the Curious Cater Dying for Chocolate, because we have the Curious Cater new movie, the third one coming out next month. So we figured we should talk about a little bit of the history that got us to that one. So now when this first came out, did you see it like right away? Oh, of course you did, because you always do your reviews. So you saw it that weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen it since? Otherwise, you probably just watched it to get ready for tonight.
Ironically, when you asked me if I could review this with you, it literally was airing an hour later on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So I was like, well, I guess I will just watch this. So I think I missed a little bit because I watched almost all of it. And then I watched the rest of it. I think the last 45 minutes on the Hallmark Now app.
Wait, you missed a little bit of it, and a little bit of it's 45 minutes when the entire thing is like,
well, so this is where
half.
I missed a chunk, and I liked this part too. So when we talked about it, I'm like, I missed the chunk with her going on a date with, what's the actor's name?
Antonio Cayenne.
Yes. And that when they went on the date, I missed that chunk of the movie. I realized, because obviously if anyone has the Hallmark Now app, you'll see the movies on Hallmark are 2 hours, but in actuality, it's more like an hour and 20 hour. Yeah, I think it's about hour and 20. So I fast forwarded it too far, and then I missed some of it. But then that time I was like, I only have time to watch this, and I know what happens. I remembered. So
okay, all right. Well, why don't we get into it then, and say, when you tell me a little bit about what you did like, other than Brad's date.
I actually had quite a bit that I liked. When it first came out, I went back and looked at my review, and I gave it 5 out of 5 chocolate bars. And I think at that time, because this is one of our first new mysteries that we've had, I think at the time it aired, in quite some time, because I think it came out even before the Hannah Swenson next one came out, or right around that time. And so I was just excited for a mystery. And so I gave it 5 out of 5. And that was kind of this was the first rewatch for me. And so that was kind of from new eyes, because we've had some new mysteries since it aired, just to kind of see, did it hold up? Which we'll talk about. The other thing I liked, I actually really, and I saw you just made a post on this on your Instagram the other day. I really enjoyed the ex-husband. He's actually one of my favorites in the series, ironically. And I saw that the book, it's completely not that personality.
Now, question. When you say you like him, is it because Lachlan Monroe is the actor? Is it because you like him? And because he's in what, like 788 Hallmark movies. So he's, I think, been in every single mystery series at least once that have multiple episodes, obviously. But now, is it you liked his character, or you just like him, so you liked the character?
I think probably a combo of both. Like, I like him as an actor, but then I found him sometimes they play the exes and you're like, ugh, we're not supposed to like them. But he was played as a likable guy. And so I liked his personality. I enjoyed their interactions together, him and Goldie. And so that's something that I saw in both movies, because obviously the second movie he was in it quite a bit as well. So I'm just going to curious to see how that kind of keeps playing out. Is he going to have this big of a role? Because he does have a somewhat decent sized
Oh yeah,
role for, being a supporting cast member. Because
yeah.
sometimes they'll play this, the ex-spouse, and they're just maybe a quick scene, but he's been in quite a few scenes with them. So I'm hoping that that carries out to this third movie.
And sorry, I'll just
Yeah.
touch on quickly. The post was about how in the books he is just a god awful, horrible, abusive, physically and psychologically human being. And there's like, yes, you're right. In here, they're not like, I would say, buddy exes who go out and get coffee together, but they're definitely amicable. Whereas in the book, it is not. In fact, he tries killing her in
Oh my gosh,
grilling
what?
season. He sends her to the
What?
hospital. He like breaks her. I think it's her thumb, so her thumb can never straighten. It's like hardcore abuse in the book. So the book is definitely not Hallmark friendly,
No, I
right?
was like, oh my
But yeah,
gosh.
so that's the funny thing, and it's what is it? It's like Richard. I forget what his middle name is, or no, it's his initials are like KRQ or KR oh, JRQ. It's John Richard Korman, and so she calls him Jerk JRK. So, but he goes just by Richard Korman in this series. But yeah, that's the thing. It is the character is so different in the book, and that's why it's funny. Because yeah, I think he's definitely not dis I don't dislike him, but it is just funny how he's so different. But Hallmark could never have obviously somebody who is beating their wife so bad that they send them to the hospital in one of their movies. That's like a lifetime, I guess. So
I don't want to watch that. No.
yeah.
Ugh.
We escape. We like happiness,
Yes.
even if it's a little bit, there's a mystery with a murder. We still like it to be a happy murder, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you like Richard Corman / Lachlan Monroe. What else you got going?
I'm neutral about Mason, who seems very incompetent to do his job. I feel like I did not like him. Maybe it was the second movie. There was one of, and I didn't mind him this time, so I'm assuming it must have been the second. Like, I feel like, I mean, either it's played for laughs, but maybe make him a little bit more competent. So I'm neutral. I know a lot of people that a strong presence of like, I'm not a big fan of him, or he doesn't seem
Yeah,
very believable,
and
but
I
he was
agree. Like
okay.
in this one, he was okay. He's just he's a new to it, so he's finding his feet. The second one, grilling season, yeah, his incompetent. Like there were a couple things when it was funny, but then it just went overboard into pure incompetence where you're like, come on, fool. So yeah,
Not
I agree
believable
with
at
you.
all. I thought the food looked really good when I was
He's a
watching.
caterer.
I know. I'm like, this looks great.
I'd hope so.
And then I really liked how they filmed in the beginning the running scene through the woods, and then that played out obviously at the end, the running scene again through the woods, which I thought that was a really cool direction, or the way that they kind of shot that, so you can kind of see, oh, this is where we're going. And I've seen it in a few other movies. I don't remember which ones they are at the top of my head, but
Mystery
I kind of
101s.
was it.
Well, it's kind of they do that, and I think a
I
lot
have
of the
not
Mystery
rewatched
101.
those. So again, I mean,
Well,
that's not my favorite, so I haven't rewatched that series.
maybe
I
not the
should.
running, but like one of the
I
other
get
ones
what,
we like,
yeah.
Fixer Upper. They
Yes.
they sort of do that in the dark,
I like that.
nighttime
I
thing.
like
So
that trope.
yeah.
So those are my kind of big ones that I enjoyed about this movie.
Well, you said you like Brad's date. So why did you like Brad's date though? As you take a big
Brad.
drink of your is that
It's
some
my
tea?
no, it's my Shatavari milk tonic.
Oh, okay.
It's an
You
Ayurvedic
should
thing.
be having a hot chocolate in to get ready for the dying for chocolate.
I had a little piece of chocolate before we aired, so there
Okay.
I
So
had
you
my
got in the
chocolate.
mood.
Um, what did you ask about Brad?
Oh, you said earlier that you liked one of your scenes you liked was the date with Brad.
Mm. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of fun. I think with Andrew and Nikki, I thought that was kind of a fun little scene,
Okay.
I think, for them, just kind of in general. That sticks out to me. Having again not watched it since it aired, and just kind of having that quick end of the date when I turn it on, I'm like, oh, that was a fun scene, I remember.
Okay, so it wasn't really the necessarily Brad. It was just how they were having
No.
this like secret thing of like,
Yeah.
oh, hang on, I got to tell you the secret of what he just told me
Yes.
he used
More
to be
that than,
engaged.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So the shenaniganness of the date.
Yes. More
Okay,
so that.
I can see that. Now, what did you think of Brad as a logical, appropriate suitor for Goldie for her first date in 12 years?
I mean, probably, well, the first scene that he came in and she kind of avoided, having him ask her to go on a date. I mean, the writing's kind of on the wall, because if you were really interested, you wouldn't probably do that, even though you haven't been on a date and that could be a thing. But if you're really interested in someone, I feel like you're gonna throw them a bone. You're not gonna play coy
Okay. I may be a
and
little
keep playing coy.
I may be a little
You don't
shallow,
like
but
that?
no, I'm just
Oh, jeez.
he's not in Nikki's league. So, but I guess she hasn't
Well,
been in a date in
I
12 years, so she's got to start with a practice date and with some guy who she knows isn't going to go anywhere. She doesn't want to start with like, hottie Tom Schultz. She needs to start with kind of averagey Brad. So
You're always the worst, Eric.
she's rather attractive and he's maybe not.
I
So
don't know. I never comment on people's appearances. That's not my
uh,
jam. So I know you love your Brooke Burns, and I don't know.
it's just, I don't know. It's just there. So, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to get into what I liked. I liked that. And I know we have obviously probably a little stronger or disagreement on the second episode, but I liked that. I thought it did a pretty good job of laying groundwork for what's to come. And some people, complained when I read some reviews, like they thought it was too slow. Things like that. But I thought what it did was it did a fairly good job of just sort of establishing the characters and establishing, where they're going to go. I thought that it's very clear that Nikki and Andrew are very comfortable with each other acting. And so I thought they just really blended well together. One of the things I liked, how Marla came in, which she's one of my favorite supporting characters of all the mysteries. I think she's just hilarious. And but I thought like Nikki and her just had a really good rapport going. One of the things, and this will be jumping forward to the second one, is she's the florist in this one, yet in the second one, she's like the sidekick caterer. So I don't know what happened to her, like her floral business go out of business or something like that. She didn't make it. Maybe Abby from Flower Shop Mysteries moved in down the street and put her out of business from Bloom. I don't know. So I really liked the groundwork and the chemistry between Andrew and Nikki. Another thing I liked, Kendall Cross. We're talking about how Lachlan Monroe is in, pretty much every mystery. Kendall Cross, I think, is also the female equivalent who's in everyone. And, I just can't get enough of her. She's just great. Sometimes she plays the, the good person, the bad person, somewhere in between. And I kind of liked her. She just pulled off that like sort of snobby, bitchy person, who you kind of like, it's got to be her, but it can't be her because it's too obvious. But you just, whatever. I just thought she did a fantastic job. And she gives some of the looks she gives her husband are just great. So I thought she was fantastic. In fact, I had a post. She was in another mystery that I was just randomly watching on Hallmark that she was in as well. And I almost posted it and I got sidetracked, but I was like, we need more Kendall Cross and things. And then lo and behold, I watched Dying for Chocolate and there she is, wonderful as usual. As I said, I think Marla is just fantastic. She's great, cracks me up. I love how, and it plays out a little more in the second one too, but with Mason, she's just like plays him, or when there's the flat tire, or she pretends she's got the flat tire when they're breaking into the house, and then she sits there and gets the guy to change her tire and keeps distracting him, and she ends up singing for him to keep him distracted. So she just cracks me up. And then Nikki DeLoach is just, I realize, a really good actor. She just is talented, and she, I don't want to say necessarily she carries it, but she's just fantastic in this, as far as just, when I just look at the acting of it, regardless of the mystery, regardless of the story, regardless of everything else, her like little, just the subtle things she does, I think she just really brings it. So once again, and it's funny because I'm not even necessarily, like, I don't dislike her, but she's not on my Mount Rushmore of favorite, actors, female actors or anything. So I just think she's extremely talented. So, all right, let's get to the other side then. What are some things maybe you didn't love?
That's funny.
That
The
could be
things that
better.
you loved, I had the opposite take. So I did think it was a little slow. So compared to some of the mysteries, like I feel like they move a little bit more, and this one had a lot of, I'm always, I don't know how to say critical of the B-roll film, because I think sometimes it's done well, but a lot of the times on Hallmark, sometimes it's done as a filler, it feels like they could have moved the story along a little bit more, had some dialogue or more interaction. And so again, like I said, the food looked good, but we saw a lot of food, B-roll of the food and lots of pictures of that, where we could have maybe had a little bit longer. Again, as we said, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Like we could have made a little bit more snappy, poppy than all of the food images. This is what is kind of funny to me. So I know you were
Are you
talking
gonna
about.
are you gonna say how Kendall Cross is like your least favorite actor in the
Oh no,
entire planet? Okay.
every time I see her, I have to look her up because I always think it's Bevan from One Tree Hill, for all the One Tree Hill fans. Every time I'm like, is that Bevan? It is not. And every time I look that up. So no, I really enjoy her, and I keep confusing her for Bevan from One Tree Hill. But one of the things that I think is funny, so to me, and I know you don't like, Lori Laughlin's character in Garage Sale Mystery, you always say that she seems like a busybody and in her everyone's business.
No, I say she's white privilege.
I feel like Goldie's the same though. I mean, she's a caterer, she's a busybody. She's doing too much to solve this crime of her friend. And then the next mystery, it's not like it's not like it's any,
Yeah.
it's her ex-husband that's potentially spoiler, is the one that she's investigating. Did he do it? I just feel like it's kind of the same. So that to me is kind of interesting. And then the chemistry between Goldie and Tom.
Well, define
have
chemistry for you. Is it like romantic when we
no,
get to the steam eater
no,
chemistry you're
it's
talking, or are you just
friends,
talking about friend
friends.
chemistry? So you don't even
It's
think they have that?
I think they have friend chemistry.
Right.
It's very much like, it to me, as other people have said to me as well in the DMs, it's more of a sibling, feeling to it. And I do agree. It does seem like, because I have 3 younger brothers, and it feels very much like she's the big sister, and kind of bringing him along, and like it's very much how I am with my brothers. It's just I don't get the romantic. Even when she fell into his arms in that second movie, for me there was no romance there. It was just like, hey, I caught you so you didn't fall on the ground. Like hopefully one of my brothers would do. I'm going to catch you. Some of them, I'm not sure if all 3 would.
So I guess that's what I was getting at with the groundwork. Why I agree, there's not that romantic chemistry, but most people, well, not most people, I guess, some people just go hot and heavy right away. But the thing I like is that they are building like that friendship, that bond there, as opposed to, which we know in some Hallmark movies, after 48 hours, I love you, I'm leaving my entire life to be with you, which goes at that frantic pace. But so, yeah, I agree. It was, as far as that chemistry, it was definitely friend chemistry, but I think that's all you want in a first mystery. So
I feel like you have, even like, thinking of Mystery 101, like there was still that tension that was there. Like you could kind of feel like, oh, there's something that's there.
But when she's like, oh, are you going to arrest me? Like that was very flirty. Oh, you've come to arrest me? Like she did it twice. And So I don't know.
And
I will disagree.
we'll see how the
I think
third
there, like I
one.
say, I think there was nuggets of it. And I definitely think there was definitely more of it. And I thought when she fell in his arms, it was not like your brother catching you, but I don't know. I think there was a little more, but okay.
I mean, that's where I'm curious to
You
see
could,
where it goes. This third one, just so
yeah,
for me in general, I enjoyed this first, one with the
right.
dying for chocolate first. The second, I remember the grilling season. That one I didn't like as much at all. Like I would say, I don't even know what I gave it, but middle of the road / lower mystery. Because I usually, again, I love, except for the ones that you bring me on, except for the dancing detective, the other ones, I usually love most of the mysteries, and the grilling one was like just an okay for me. And so for me, kind of this third movie is, it's, will I enjoy the series or not? Like, will this be something where I'm looking forward to it? Even though the Hannah Swenson one kind of, people didn't like the ending. I didn't like that ending. I like that series. I'm invested into it.
Well,
So will I invest? I don't know.
the third one's going to be interesting because it's John Christian Plummer didn't write it. So it's a different writer.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it is an interesting thing because, right, in my thing, I thought from one to two, they did a really good job, in which you obviously, this is where we disagree. I thought they've done a good job advancing it and getting more comfortable and, yes, furthering the relationships. But the third one's going to be, is it going to continue, or because like everyone writes differently, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
that would be
I'm very
interesting.
curious for that because I would like to see it continue on this trajectory, but it may be a little sidetrack. I don't know. But then a lot of mysteries also have multiple writers and somehow they keep flowing. So I don't know. All right.
Those are my main ones.
Those are main ones.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay. Well, I was going to say, first of all, because you do like all the other mysteries, I'll have you back on when I review Matchmaker Mysteries then.
Okay. Maybe not all of them. I was like that, or Picture Perfect. That one is, again, Picture Perfect. That would be my bottom one, is Picture Perfect. Matchmaker is right above that
Seriously?
one.
Matchmaker is so much worse than.
Well, I love Victor Webster. He is
I
one of my
agree, and
favorite Hallmark
he
people.
needs to be.
He
I
would be
like.
he would be great with maybe someone else or just different premise. I'm not sure. Something just didn't click with that series. I'd have to
Well,
go back and watch to see exactly what, because I haven't watched it after the
well,
first
then
viewing.
let me share with you my notes of what maybe I thought could be a little bit different to make it better.
Yeah.
While Andrew Walker, I talked about how I thought they were really comfortable together.
Mm.
I just him as the detective.
Mm.
I don't think he could be a different detective, but I don't think he's Tom Schultz detective.
Okay.
So in my notes, I said it should be Victor Webster because I think he
I
needs to
like
be
that
like
better. Yeah.
I think Tom Schultz in this
I like that
character needs to
pairing
be
better
like
too.
he needs to be like a rougher, like
Yeah.
Andrew Walker is like guy next door, oh shucks, I know he's got this stubbles and he's trying to look all whatever, but he's still guy next door. And I think he needs to be in a little bit different of a detective role. And I think Tom Schultz should be Victor Webster, who is just, testosterone bursting out of everywhere. So, and I am a huge fan of Victor Webster too. And that's why I, I feel insulted that he had to do that mystery because he is so much better than that. And I don't know if it like stunted him from being in another mystery or what, but because he's one of it, if you go to my Hallmark movie reviewer ranking all the actors, I have him number 2 behind only Christopher Plaha. And on any given day they could flip flop probably. They're just, great.
What do you like, the one that I haven't heard you mention? The morning show. Have you watched those
Oh,
mysteries? Do you like those?
I I don't like the series, but I like individual. Like
Okay.
there's some I like, some I don't like. So
Okay.
I can't say I overall like it. I also, for some reason, Rick Fox is, I think that's the guy's name.
Yep.
Oh, look at you.
Big NBA fan over here. So yes,
Yeah. You
Rick
and
Fox.
your Dwayne Wade,
I
um,
know.
which is Dwayne Wayne. Uh, we're going off air with some comments now on on her post. But yeah, he I
You
don't
don't
know.
like him?
I just don't think he can
Okay.
act. I think you know
I
what they should do? They should stick him in a mystery with Candace Cameron Bure and let the two of them not act well together and push them aside. So
well, I mean, he obviously left the series for that last one, and Colin Lawrence came in.
right.
And I enjoyed Colin. I really like Colin, but I watched Virgin River, and so I really like Colin Lawrence.
Do you
I
still
thought that
watch it?
was, yep. I have
5
not.
seasons.
I've just watched only the one episode. That one is like a hard one for me to binge. It's very serious at times, and it's also a little slow. So sometimes I got to be in the right mood.
I made it
But
through 2 seasons, and
and then you
I
gave
just
up.
yeah, it
Oh,
just got too much for me.
I can understand that. But I think
But
Colin Lawrence, with Holly Robinson Pete, which I don't know if that mystery has been canceled because they're. I mean,
I don't think it's officially for
I
the
mean,
record. Fixer Upper has never been officially canceled either.
uh,
No,
I mean, and both of
I'm not
the.
holding my breath.
I know that's where I'm like both of the actors are still around. Well, at least for
And
the morning show mystery, they're still on the Hallmark. So I'm surprised.
Holly
Maybe
has
ratings. I don't
Holly
know.
has the contract too, right? I think she's
Yep,
one of the
yeah.
ones. So
I think Colin does too.
okay. Well, we were really talking a lot about dying for chocolate here, Virgin River,
I know,
and
right?
all the sorts of good things. Okay, so
My
one of the other
interest level in this movie.
so one of the other things I can't say I didn't like it because I don't think it would work, but how they didn't really hold true to some of the characters of the book. And I know that if you read the books, there's and even when we talk to John Christian Plummer, he just really sort of takes one little scene out of it that he gets inspired by, and he doesn't really, base it off the story of the book or the flow. But one of the things I would like is, like I said, I know we talked a little bit before about how the ex-husband's a jerk, and I know why you couldn't get away with that because it's just not Hallmark friendly, right? Even though the guy who we both agree in guiding Emily, not the best boyfriend there. But Marla in the book is also quite chubby, and I thought they why I love JC Daunton, and as I said, she's a fantastic character. I love what she's done with it, all that. I would like to have seen them maybe hold true. Martha from the Good Witch. You don't have to be rail skinny to be on in one of these shows. I think they could have gotten a character who was a little truer to what who's in the book, and it would have been great seeing that as her friend. And I think could have brought a lot to it. Get away from the Hollywood stereotype of what you have to look like.
Yeah.
So, and once again, I love JC, and I'm glad she's in it. And it's nothing against her. I just, like I say, I would love to see that character be cast true to the story.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
So, the last thing is, and I can't even read my own writing here. Oh, the ending. The ending was just, and which is a lot of mysteries, I guess. It just kind of felt a little abrupt when they ran in there and they're like sort of arguing. And like I had to rewatch it, which kudos to her, but Nikki's tackling of him, like that whole thing, I'm like watching it, I'm like, wait, what? And maybe that's what it was supposed to be, to show you the chaoticness of the moment. But it just seemed like they're sort of running through the woods, this, that, and the other. And then the guy stops and then, talks and takes 30 minutes to, decide what he's going to do with her rather than, just put an end to her, which I don't know. Like, I don't know also why he had a gun with him when he was at this party planting the evidence. So the end just seemed a little too forced, but, what do I know? The other thing is I felt compelled, but I Googled the hemlock, the wet hemlock, which poison hemlock, which apparently is very poisonous. But if you like try it or even cook with it, it would break down too much and it wouldn't be actually poisonous. I will say I've not tested it, but Yeah, maybe I'll make some hemlock brownies and take them to work.
That's
But
like elderberries. That's the same as elderberries. I make elderberry syrup, and if you don't actually cook it down enough, you can poison yourself. I've had someone who bought a batch from someone who didn't cook it down enough and like was slowly poisoning herself. She's like, something's not right. I don't feel great. Started to break out. So yeah, herbs can be, I mean, you definitely got to know what you're taking when you're working with herbs. So yeah,
but
I totally believe it. Cook it down if you're going to try it.
yeah,
We are not recommending trying it though.
no, it is not our suggestion. And if you
No,
do, please do not say we did and sue us.
no. Yeah,
Because once
exactly.
again, we are saying do not
Do not do
eat
that.
it.
Do
Even
not
though
do
I do
that.
not believe it's poisonous, do not try it.
Don't do it.
So, okay. Let's move it on to our second to last category. So what do you think of the mystery? How did you like how the mystery played out?
So I
Did you
remember not
did you know who did
knowing,
it? Okay.
not the first time. I don't think I remember.
I
And even
only
the
knew the
second
second
time,
time.
the second time I was like, I can't remember who did it. And then at the end, I remembered when they were at the party and she was talking to the killer. I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't watched, but I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's who did
Right.
it. And then they ended up, in the situation. One of the things that I found funny, which this wasn't anywhere a like or a dislike, but I thought this was kind of funny when they ended the scene or went to commercial break when Tom came up behind Goldie in like the garage and like put his hand over her
Oh
mouth
yeah.
and he said, I didn't want to scare you. Like that is the most terrifying thing ever. If you're in a
Yeah, I
garage and
know.
you're like sneaking around and someone comes up behind you and puts their hand over your mouth, how is that not scary? I just found that so amusing. I'm like, wait, what? That's how
So
you're like
wait,
say you're there?
you think that's more scary than just being like, Psst, hey Goldie, it's
Well,
Tom.
I mean, just saying your name. So like
Right.
I had this happen at the gym. I was on a treadmill once and one of my trainer, guy friends, he this is kind of the same. This is what made me think of it. I was like, oh my gosh, came up behind me and he was like, I didn't want to scare you. He like touched my butt to get my attention. And I was like, you could have said my name. That was more terrifying to me, you coming up and just touching me than just saying my name. I would have
I
been like,
I think it was just his excuse.
and it felt the same way of like this situation where you're like, why do you need, I mean, I feel like if someone's physically touching you, it's much more jarring than
I agree.
someone
That's what I
saying your
say.
name.
You just be like, hey Goldie, I'm here.
What?
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
found that funny. Did you know who did it?
Um,
Usually always
I
do.
did
So did you?
no,
You
I did
didn't.
not. I thought they did a really good job with the red herrings. I think I'm getting sort of the pattern of the curious caterer, though. It's, well, I guess it's usual, the thing of like, who's the guy who's not really involved at all is the one it ends up being, as opposed to, there were no red herrings for this guy. He was just sort of a side character, and then off it goes. I did like when they sort of played it out, and they did, they replayed how he got all the people, his little
Mhm.
hypnosis to get everyone thinking and planning his whole thing to do it. I thought that was really good. I liked, like I say, I liked that it turned out to be him. I guess we just have said who it is because said it's a him, and I sort of let off the hypnosis thing, but we won't say the names. But yeah, so I thought it laid out, like I say, despite the ending being a little abrupt, I thought it had a good ending. I liked the way that they kind of like how you like the beginning when it shows her running through the woods in the dark. I kind of like the way they did that thing of reviewing how it like led up to the final thing, how the whole crime happened. So that was pretty good. So yeah, I liked the mystery. All right. The other thing we talked about here is style. I had a interesting time with this one. So what did you think? I forget what the Colorado town's called. Much style going around there.
I mean, it was a lot of, catering and just kind of, I mean, your basic wear. Nothing too stylish that I mean, stood out to me on either men or women. It was just kind of
Yeah.
your basic small town attire.
I thought Marla had some cute outfits going. Goldie had a couple, but then she also had a couple head scratchers, like her coat that she wore with that blue shirt when she was like hiding in the closet, and when she went to his office after that, like it seemed like the sleeves were too long, like the coat was too big for her. Um, I guess being nitpicky, and the only reason I probably noticed it is because I know I have to talk about style, and I'm sure I did not notice it the first go around. But I do think like Goldie, now I think in the second one, I think like even with their caterer outfits, I think they're totally stylish. I think in this one it was just sort of up and down, and I think Goldie could have dressed, cute throughout the entire thing, which I thought Marla did. And then the guys were all just kind of whatever. Detective wear for Tom. Brad wore his little blue, which I found kind of interesting for their that first party they had, that he wore like some sort of athletic wear, whatever you call it, leisure wear, athleisure wear, whatever it's called.
Athleisure.
Athleisure, yeah. So, but whatever. So yeah, it wasn't like an overly stylish movie in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Okay, let's get to our rankings. I think I know where you're going to go with this, considering you compared it to your brother, but where do you put the steam meter? Well, at least I hope.
I know, right?
This is a family show here. So the steam meter.
I give it a 2, which might be generous.
I gave it a 3. And once again, I agree with you. I think it was just friends. The only reason I gave it there is because I do think they had little flirty glimpses in it, but I don't think by any means was there anything of like, and you're right, like Mystery 101, there were some things where like, kind of like, oh, like, look, give each other some good hard looks kind of thing.
The tension.
Yeah, it did that a little more. All right, for a story, not looking at the mystery, just the overall story. How would you rank this?
6.
6.
Only because it was slow in parts for me. So
okay, I gave it a 7. Like I say, a little better than you. I didn't think it was great, but I enjoyed it. And then we get to the mystery, the actual mystery.
I gave it an 8. I thought that was, again, I didn't know who did it the first time, and even the second time it took me halfway through before I remembered.
I think I would have been there with you with an 8, but I gave it a 7 just because, once again, maybe this should go in the story. The ending, just why I liked it all the way up until that final like run through the woods, good tension, and then sort of got there and it just sort of all collapsed at that final thing. So it just deflated a little bit for me. How about the acting?
I gave it a 9. I thought they did a good job.
Same here. Like I said, Nikki she's just uber talented. I thought Andrew, even though I would like to see a little more macho-y guy, I thought he was, he was perfectly competent in it. And I thought the secondary characters were all, and that's where a lot of these, can fall apart with the secondaries. Yeah. But I think they had such a strong, like we were just talking, Lachlan Monroe in everything, Kendall Cross in everything. So these are like really
good supporting
ones. And even that Antonio Cayan, despite the fact he's not in Nikki's league, he's been in a lot of things as well. So they didn't like go and say, hey, we just need to get some local people from the local community theater. They definitely went ahead and had a good budget for talent in this one. So yeah, both gave it some 9s. How about style?
Well, I had originally done a 7, but then as we're talking, I feel like I'm going to knock it down to a 6.
I have it as an 8. I'm, as we're talking, trying to figure out why I gave it an 8, because like I said, it was just ho-hum.
Yeah.
You know what I think it was? And we talked about this last time too with Frankie Quinn. Marla pulled it off too, that whatever look with the hair pulled back with those bangs things hanging down the front. That's fire. So I have to say that's why I'll give it an 8 for Marla's hair. So, all right, quickly add up yours. I come to a 34.
31.
31. So we're at a 65. So that's basically if it's on, give it a watch. If it's on, maybe watch it, maybe don't watch it.
Did
But
you like the second one better than this one?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I didn't like, there's a lot I didn't like Mason. I didn't like him. The private investigator who was in there, I found her character like just sort of weird, randomly, just like it was stuck in there just so they could have this thing, of which I don't know why she would hide the files in the dressing room of a place that, like, there's just some way weird things in it. And so, but I really liked the character progression between Andrew, Marla, and Nikki. I thought the three of them were really good in the second one. And like you, I'm really looking forward to the third one that comes out, and especially with having the different writer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see will I want to continue watching.
You'll continue anyhow.
Well, I mean, I will watch it no matter what. It might not be a favorite. I am actually, did you see the Haunted Harmony Mysteries trailer?
I have not. I've not actually seen any of the trailers.
So I just caught it because I like to watch, again, because Murder She Wrote's my favorite. I like to watch a Murder She Wrote episode in the mornings as I work out, and they happen to play the trailer this morning when I was working out. And I'm like, at first, I mean, the synopsis.
Wait. Murder She Wrote is your workout jam?
It is.
Some 180-year-old woman walking around solving crimes is what like gets you all pumped, ready to roll?
I mean, I've seen all of them a bazillion times. I own the DVD set for all 12 seasons. So I
should have
mean,
just
I
been
love
like,
it.
I was eating breakfast, not I'm working out. But okay,
It's
go
like
ahead.
I'm
Sorry.
lifting weights and have Murder She Wrote on. And I happen to
so
see
you're doing like your 2-pound weights because you're doing your you're Jessica, what's her name? Fletcher, right?
Oh, Jessica Fletcher. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, she's 190 years old. She can barely pick up the paper bag. So
no, she was like in her 50s. Like if you look at the show, I mean, again, this is like the Golden Girls thing. Also a big Golden Girls fan.
We don't talk about that because I'm as old as the Golden Girls.
Well, see, and that's the same thing with Jessica Fletcher. Like they have her in the 80s.
She was not in her 50s.
50s through, because it ran for 12 seasons, and then it went up to, I want to say 72.
She started when
60.
she was 80. She was not 50 when that started.
60 to like 72. Yes.
Oh, 60? Okay. Well,
it was not in her 80s, but yes. Well, it went into her 80s with the movies, technically, or close to it. She wasn't quite. But
we are talking about everything but Dying for Chocolate.
I know, right? But the Haunted, in case
so when she was a guest star in Virgin River, what was she? All right.
No.
So you're working out to Jessica Fletcher. So what's going on?
And the Haunted Harmony Mysteries, that trailer came on, and the synopsis that we read, it sounded kind of dumb. But then actually watching the trailer, I'm like, this looks really good. Now, you'll have to go watch it.
Funny, like sort of more of a comedic one, or is it
a little spooky, but then also funny as well, because the ghost actually, like, it comes alive and you can see the ghost. And so I'm curious to see how it kind of plays out. And she's trying to solve his murder that happened, I don't know how many years ago. And so I don't know if it's just her that can see him, or if it is everyone that can. I'm assuming it might be just Tamara, her character. I'm just trying to look up what her name. I do not get this. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Her character's name is Gethsemane. Guesses mean?
I don't know
that name. So whoever she's playing, I don't know if it's just her that can see this ghost, and then the Marco, the Virgin River guy, he is going to be the love interest that comes in at some point. So it looks actually really enticing. So in case other people were kind of curious, it does look actually quite good.
So all right, so there's the 4 of them out there. There's the Curious Caters we've talked about, the Harmony Murder with Gaston.
Hannah Swenson.
The Hannah Swenson, and then there's Mystery Island. So those 4, rank them 1 through 4. one being what you're most excited for, four with one that you're least.
I would say now it's the Haunted Mystery.
Wait, that's one?
That would be now the Haunted Harmony Mysteries is going to be my one. After seeing the preview, it's bumped into my one spot. Hannah Swenson 2. And then Mystery Island 3. And then Curious Caters down at my 4. Mystery Island only because Glass Onion. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
On Netflix. It just seems like it's the same thing, only Hallmark version. And so
we won't tell Christopher.
No spoilers.
Christopher Plummer that oh hey, you just ripped off Netflix. But
well, when he was describing it, when you were talking to him, I'm like, this seems very like the Glass Onion. And then watching a preview, I was like, this is very much like the Glass Onion. So I'm curious to see if it deviates or how that kind of plays out. Gotcha. But yeah, that's why it's not ranked as high. What about for you? What's your 4 ranking?
I'm going Glass Onion, number 1. Number 2 is Hannah Swenson. So even though it's not Murder, She Baked, Hannah Swenson's not my favorite mystery. Come on, it ended on that cliffhanger, so I'm anxious. I'm anxious. And then Curious Cater, and then the Harmony, but I haven't seen the preview. So maybe after I see no, I'll say this. And I think we're both in agreement here that, you know, everyone's saying, oh, just bring back old mysteries. I don't want new mysteries. We're both people who like the new mysteries. Mm-hmm. So I have, just because I ranked that 4th, by no means does it mean I'm not excited for it. I'm totally thrilled for it. You know, I'm in 4 weeks in a row of mysteries is going to be fantastic. So but it's just, like I said, there's just the reasons why. The Mystery Island, partly, I guess, because when we talked to, you know, John Christian Plummer back in, I don't know what it was, March, he let us on that he was writing it. And then the next time when he told us about the whole episode 8, he dropped a little more hint. So, and just talking to him, he's been a great guy who he'll like communicate with us, which whatever, he's a really, really nice guy. But so he's kind of just had me anxious for this one. So that's why I have it as number 1. The number 2, once again, like I said, it ended on that cliffhanger. So I got to know what happens next. 3 is just Curious Cater because I've got that investment. And then the 4th is just because it's a new one that, you know, there we go. So
yeah,
but
love it.
Now I don't know which one's going to be the best. You know, we'll see. I'm anxious. I'm excited for all 4. And I think all 4 will probably be really good.
I'm excited for mysteries again and having them, like, I mean, we've been having more drama again this week. There's another drama movie instead of the mystery. So I'm just excited.
Is the Air Force one Hallmark Mystery? Mm-hmm. Movie mystery? Okay. Yeah. I did not know. By the way, even though I guess it's on Movies and Mysteries, so we can talk about it. That Guiding Emily, we talked about it a little bit in our our DMs there. That was a really good movie. That was a really good movie. So I did not have high
expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, it was great.
Well, I'll say when they started having the dog talk, I'm like, oh, whatever, but didn't bother me at all. And like I said, I thought it was super well written. So we
catch that one if you haven't.
Yes, I agree. All right, Andrea. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Always a pleasure.
Here's what I do. When you like one of the ones coming up, and you're like, oh, that movie is so good, you can come back and, well, I guess I'd have to like it too. All right. That's it. We'll just talk about Matchmaker mysteries together. So, all right, Andrea. Well, thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thanks, Eric.